I'd give it a week. They tend to crumble under pressure, and the investigator at this precinct is formidable. We've met a couple of times. Brennan wanted me to find information about one of his suspects that were close to getting bailed out. He asked me to do some digging, find information that's not accessible to the public. He's passionate about his duty, you could say. But the suspect was arrested for a white-collar crime, insurance fraud. He was also in possession of a weapon at the time, and Brennan had a feeling there was more to the picture. It turned out he was siphoning money to offshore accounts that belonged to the St. Legion, a crime network that was gaining ground at the time. The guy had also booked a flight out of the country, so he was a flight risk. An anonymous courier dropped off the evidence, and he's still in prison. I didn't do it. A concerned citizen informed me of a secure place that I then forwarded to Brennan. I would say a dark night in the shadow. To a regular officer, they'd see us as criminals, breaking rule after rule for our own gain, accessing records, and doing things we're not supposed to. Lucky for me, my grandfather was so respected that his clients helped at any pushback from law enforcement. For the most part, he was untouchable. And though I had to make my own way, I also earned their respect. They know they'll need me, so I'm protected. Again, for the most part. For Brennan, I'm an anonymous informant, and that's all I can be. He has no power to protect me, but he's good at what he does, and his instincts are commendable. How's your case going? Seems like you're doing more than making headway. Well, you were telling me about hitting a wall last night, but this is impressive. How has the correspondence been with Kinsey? Good. She knows that area well. It's nice to know she hasn't lost her touch. And you're exceeding my expectations. You are. I admit, when you were curious about my cases, I didn't know how you'd be able to handle them. If you could think bigger than the life you've led. But for over a year, I've watched you grow, and I couldn't be more proud. Before you, I was able to manage all of my cases. But now I don't have to worry or check your work. You do the job well. Your evaluations are succinct. Your methods are efficient. I couldn't have asked for a better partner. In more ways than one. You outgrew being my assistant some time ago, and I think your natural talent was being wasted. I started thinking that when you finished the Cormac case. There were a lot of moving parts, but you managed to follow them precisely. An affair leading to real estate fraud, leading to a government cover-up? Who would have expected? But that comes with the job, and you weren't scared to dig deeper than what was asked of you. And the fact you find it fun means it's suited for you. But that's when I realized that you needed your own space to work. My study would be too small for the both of us. I like this better too. Knocking down the wall between the study and the library is one of my better decisions. I was dubious at first. I'd never made such a permanent alteration to the house. But it made sense. And working together with you has been nice. The view is better than before. You know I don't mean the books. Oh, did you want me to say it was you? Well, it is. So, now you've coaxed that out of me, let's take a break. We both deserve one. And I don't want the gyoza you made to go to waste. In here, no. Fruit is fine, small confectionaries are fine, but gyoza is for comfort. Anxious about what? No, they were delicious. And a nice surprise to wake up to. I know the smell so well, but I never thought you'd try to make them yourself. Are you sure getting better at cooking was your only reason? Uh-huh. And it wasn't at all to do with me saying I craved it the week before, was it? Just a complete coincidence? Because I like to see how well you try to lie or weave around the truth even when we both know it. It's a fun little pastime. You must have one as well. Have a pastime at my expense. But that means you have one. What is it? What? Surely it's not that bad. Really? I wasn't expecting that. How often do you watch me sleep? I never noticed. I only do when you play with my hair, but other than that, I didn't know. Why? I do sleep. Better than I used to, actually. Before I brought you here, I'd either work until I couldn't stay up anymore, or I'd have a whiskey as a nightcap and pray it knocked me out. I would get my hours most of the time, but they weren't the best. Sleeping with you next to me is a nice addition. Now I have a night routine. Oh, I love it. A hard work curfew, an hour to relax, and then a warm sleep with you in my arms like this. You make me sleep better. Yes, your conditioner lulls me every time. Knowing you're there, it soothes me. But I want to kiss you a little more. The gyoza needs to cool down a little. Look at me like that all you want. Would you prefer I hadn't kissed you? I thought so. Oh, that smells delicious. Your chopsticks. I wouldn't be against you making more next time. For your first attempt, they're amazing. They freeze well, so the amount is never a concern. And it doesn't take long to steam them either. Well, this pork filling is a classic, but I think next time... what about shrimp? I think that would taste nice. Let me know when you decide to. I might, try my hand at a couple of dishes. Maybe tonkatsu or donburi. I've wanted to make them, but never had a reason or the time. Yes, let's cook together that day. We could take some pictures. Commemorate the day, I suppose. I don't know if I'd add it to the album my mother made. You to make one? For what? I think she'd like that. She was always preserving memories in one way or another. She'd have to accept me getting rid of the wall, though I think she'd use it to her advantage. Like going into the library, pretending to look for a book when she'd likely be in there to not so subtly check on me. Even if I wasn't doing this work, I'd still use the study. I don't know if I'd break down the wall, but it's more convenient this way. Yes, and more room for you. You're a part of this space, and I want this to feel like home for you. I'm glad it does. Do you want to sit down in the living room? The garden. Are you sure? Well, it is a nice day. Sure. I'll take one more. No, it's fine. I wouldn't mind a walk myself. May I... Never mind. It's embarrassing for me to ask, don't worry. Could I take your hand as we walk? Thank you. I'm not as fearful as I was before, but being out here still... It still has its hold on me. You crowned me. Feeling you reminds me that I'm not alone. I'm not a child anymore, and that time has passed by. Enough for me to remember that this garden used to be filled with good memories. No, the garden looks exactly as it used to, minus the gravestones. I've thought about it, but I'm at odds with myself. On the one hand, changing the garden might help me move on, but I don't want to erase places I'm fond of. And at the same time, keeping the garden as it is preserves it, but also the nightmare of it every time I look. The good ones. Let's see. Over there, that tree. My mother used to knit underneath it, and I'd be in her lap reading my book. Sometimes she'd bring out a portable radio, and we'd listen to songs together. They have to be somewhere. Probably in my parents' room in one of the drawers. We could look later, sure. You've been taking care of it, I assume? And now that I think about it, so much of the house has been locked in time. I can't remember the last time I went in there, but I expect it looks the same as they left it. I think that's something else for me to change. I only told the gardener to keep everything tidy as well. No shortcuts, no adding anything. I hope he has more time for other gardens now that I've reduced his hours. Well, I was, taking your words into consideration. My mother loved this garden, and she used to teach me how to tend to things for a reason. And I don't want to forget or ignore what she gave me. I think it was more than keeping me occupied. When you look after something that grows and needs attention and will die with neglect, you become responsible. Your actions and inactions have consequences. I want to do more. The gardener will still come and go, but as you said, she lives out here. And I've been afraid for too long. I know. I'm slowly getting there. One step at a time. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. I'm serious. I'd still be stuck, thinking I had no way forward, that I had to live in stasis. I didn't know I was that strong until you showed me I could be. Where would I be? In my study, thinking that I was destined to continue my life alone, because nothing else showed me different, and nothing I had made me want to try. Only you. Yes, you've changed my life in ways that I didn't even know I needed. I know you just do what you want, say what you want, and I love you for it. I love you for you. No, I'll say it however many times you want me to. I love you. I love you. I love you. I don't know why. Maybe it's the garden. Maybe it's the warmth of the sun. Maybe it's eating good food and walking out here with the one I love. I have a lot to be thankful for. You don't have to thank me for that. Saving you was the best decision I ever made. Sometimes I like to think that my mother gave me the push, that she knew who you were and how you'd make this place feel like home again. But that's the point. You didn't try. You were yourself and you were honest the whole time. And despite how we met and how you came to be here, you had my best interests at heart. I think it was only a matter of time before I fell for you. Well, the earliest sign was, I think, that night when I woke up from a bad dream. When we were in the living room and you used me as your pillow, it was then I thought to myself that I might be in serious trouble. Because I hadn't felt that kind of care in a while. And I felt almost scared how quickly I allowed it to happen. Now I'm spoiled with it. I'm not complaining one bit. On the contrary, I relish all of it. It all feels strangely domestic, doesn't it? Holding hands like this. It's not that I don't like it, I do. I'm not used to it. I would see my parents do this, and I saw it as a sign of pure love. After everything, I thought I'd never have the chance to walk the path they did together with my own lover. It almost feels like I'm showing you off to them. Yes, I think they're watching too. The anxiety has reduced since before. I still find myself wanting to run, but you remind me that today isn't the past. Of course, I'm always worried about you. But I know that it comes with the territory of loving you as much as I do. And I can't shield you from the world, as much as part of me wants that. As my partner, in more ways than one, we need to leave here for business, and I can't stop working. Do you think so? I'd like to think I'm getting better at it. I don't want to suffocate you or cage you. I want you to thrive because I know your potential, and I will not suppress it. That's not something to thank. It's respect and trust and succumbing to the unknown, which I've never liked to face. I know the future isn't written, but I'll accept whatever it gives as long as you're there with me. Yes, even cases. Speaking of, I received an assignment yesterday of suspected espionage at a biotech company, Selexion. Their headquarters is in Zurich, and they have production facilities in Germany. The CEO wants to discuss the case directly. I think there's something else he wants to talk about, but we'll see. You mean how long will we be gone for? You're my partner. When I bought you this ring, I made a commitment to you, and a promise to myself, and I intend to see both through no matter how I feel. You can't be at your full potential if you don't have practice in the field. And you want to continue doing what I do and build your own client list, right? Okay, and that's why you're coming with me. It'll be your first international business meeting. Are you ready for it? Good. I was, thinking of changing the area around the gravestones. The bushes are nice when they bloom, but in the colder months, it's too barren. We could have it as a small home project if we want to take a break from our cases. What do you think? I want something more robust than flowers. Something that doesn't change with the seasons, but not fake flowers either. A pond would be nice. Maybe koi. And a gentle waterfall with light ornaments in blue or something. No, I'm just thinking aloud. I agree. Let's do some research while we eat. What's on the menu? Shrimp Alfredo sounds delicious. Do you want any help with it? In that case, I'll bring my file to the kitchen and watch you instead. I can focus on both. I'm a good multitasker, and you're a good cook, so you shouldn't get distracted by much. Oh? And how do I distract you? I can't do much about the way I look at you. I want you to see what I'm thinking without saying a word. Yes. So what am I thinking? See? Without uttering a word. Was it that obvious? I'm not against being transparent, as long as you know. I don't have a specific time frame for the garden project. I want to plan ideas first and look at designs, see what we can work with. Not too big. A moderate-sized build, but natural enough for us to tend to it. The gardener won't touch it. I said I trust you. It'll be ours. I was thinking, blues, purples, and maybe warm lights instead. I don't know in what form yet. I've briefly looked at catalogs to see what's available, and it was overwhelming. It'll take us a while.